have to get the car. Trust me.
Lots of explosions. Big explosions.
Hi, and welcome to Movie Reviews for You. I'm Bodie Plekas.
And I'm Jason Govine. And as you can see behind us, we're reviewing the movie Transformers. Transformers is a cartoon based on an 1984 cartoon, came from Japan over to the United States. The head of the Decepticons, Megatron, ends up coming to the Earth, getting encased in ice in Antarctica, and you have our main character, Shia LaBeouf, who plays Sam Witwicky. His great-great-great-great-great-grandfather happens to find this thing encased in ice and this cube. So you've got these Decepticons and you've got the Autobots that now are in a race against time to find this Allspark. And they're coming from all over the galaxies, and they find it, they locate it to be on the Earth. So now you've got the race against time to gain control of this powerful cube that holds their lives in the balance.
Yeah, I spent most of this movie looking for my Allspark. As the creators of South Park sang in the film Team America, why does Michael Bay keep getting to make movies? Of course, they were talking about the movie Pearl Harbor, but they might as well have been talking about this one as far as I was concerned. And the answer to that clearly is because they make a lot of money. With a lot of ridiculous plot contrivances, tons and tons of blowing up stuff, this seemed to be a case of a lot going on so you didn't notice that nothing was going on, sort of the Emperor's New Clothes on film. The characters are largely uninvolving. Shia LaBeouf does a great job of sort of humanizing this nerdy character at the beginning. Has a lot of spastic energy that really works pretty well with it. But other than that, it's just really a lot of blowing up stuff without much in the way of human characters. And that's kind of typical of Michael Bay films. He blows up stuff really well, but he doesn't seem to give a lick about the characters.
Well, I found that to be, what you said to be very interesting, because when you look at, from my perspective, an old Transformers fan back from '84, there are certain things that made the Transformers very, very unique and very close to a lot of our hearts who did love it. For example, the voices. I understand they had to have Hugo Weaving in the place of Frank Welker, who played Megatron, because Hugo's this huge star, you know him from V Vendetta and whatnot, but there's something about Frank's voice that was just great as Megatron. Then you had Starscream, which didn't have much of a play in this film per se. Chris Latta, who also, some of you who might have watched G.I. Joe, he played Cobra Commander as well. He had passed away, but they did keep Peter Cullen, who was Optimus Prime, and he, gave you that sense of nostalgia of what it was. But that also being said, there was just too much going on. They were trying to understand that they were attempting to deliver a great plot line, but it just fell flat. And Shia did an excellent job trying to, to keep our attention, which he did very well. But other than that, the plot line was so thin and just so wispy, it just wasn't worth it.
Well, and you told me that Hugo Weaving was doing the voice, and I totally forgot about it. It might as well have been, and maybe better have been, Ozzy Osbourne going, "I am Megatron."
Might work.
The other problem with it for me is that you would expect at least at the very minimum in a film like this that the effects would be super great. For me personally, I didn't find the effects to be super great. I thought a lot of times they seem kind of unrealistic. There's that great battle scene in the streets, and there were huge chunks of that seemed like a cartoon. And I'd read that the filmmakers had said 3 years ago they couldn't have made the films because the advances in technology allowed them to do tons of stuff. And I came out of the theater going, well, have you guys watched any cartoons from the last several years? Because it didn't look that much better than them.
There were a lot of things that I think that Michael Bay and the producers and writers of this film were trying to attempt to do. But I don't think they really hit the point of what they wanted to do. I cannot recommend this film for the fact that the plot line is just very thin. A lot of the stories and the characters are extremely contrived, and after a while it seemed a bit hokey. I would have rather just been a cartoon and gotten over with.
This film is probably popular for a reason. I'm just not sure what a good reason might be, other than that people just love to watch a lot of stuff get blown up and they never get tired of it. So in the reasonable thrills department, action, and for the adolescent mind, this is probably fine. But if you've used your brain anytime over the last decade, I think you're going to find it pretty lame.
So as you can see, Bodie really didn't care for the film, and I didn't like it much either. It is what it is. Well, thank you once again for joining us. My name is Jason Govine.
And I'm Bodie Plekas, and we'll see you next week on Movie Reviews.
For you. Well,
Unless we get transformed.
Unless we get transformed, then we'll be in, we'll be in a Michael Bay movie, making a lot of noise, doing stuff.
With the three of them.